Hi, guys. Welcome back to Talking Faith with Natasha. Thank you so much for tuning in today's video. I really appreciate all the love and support, and I can't wait, to share today's video and continue learning and growing with you guys. So, on today's video, we're going to be talking about cliques in the church. What do I mean by cliques in the church? Cliques, like, sometimes you can go to church and you never ever have conversations with people in the church. The only people you talk to are those people who greet you when you are first, in most churches you get called up and they'll welcome you, and then they'll lead you towards like in our church it's called the counseling department. They take you there, and then the counselors will talk to you, but after that you don't interact with any church members because you see that everybody is in their own little groups and there's no room for you. And when you're the only new person in a place, it's so difficult to initiate conversation, or be the one to just be outgoing and go out there and be like, hi, I'm this person, and just start being out there with people. The important thing is, a lot of the times, you desire for people to come to you, welcome you, invite you to things in church and all those different types of things. But most of the time, that's not how it goes down. That's not how it works out. And this is what I mean by cliques in the church. So today's video is not to bash anyone or, criticize any churches, but it's up to remind us as children of God, that you need to be alert when you are in church. Don't take out too much time, after service, chatting with your friends, like people who you have a connection with outside of church. Focus on those new people. Make them feel welcome, because I can guarantee you that is lacking in the church. That is really, really lacking. And a lot of people end up leaving churches because of that. When you go to church, especially when you really love God and you want to grow, it's easier when you have a community in the church. So when there are cliques in church, it's so difficult to penetrate these cliques, because these are people who've known each other for years, people who've been together in so many different times and so many different things as the church has grown. You know what I mean? So my message today is just to encourage, guys, when you're in church, be alert. Look out for people who are new, who are feeling out of place. Make them feel welcome. Invite them. Check up on them after church. It's not just like we see each other on Sunday and that's it. That's it until the following Sunday. No, it's a daily thing. You must continue to... It's a daily thing, and you must continue to check out on these people, look for these people, because in that way we're losing so many people to the world. Because a lot of people will tell you, no, I don't go to church because everyone is just friends with each other, and you can never penetrate those groups. It mustn't be like a high school playground. It mustn't be like these toxic it shouldn't be a toxic environment. And a lot of the times it comes off that way because people were not willing to just step out of our comfort zone, talk to the new people, because I think an exercise that would help would be every Sunday, especially when you go to a big church, make it a point that when you finish church, you don't talk to someone go to that new person, get to know them, make them feel welcome, because we are losing a lot of people because of that. Because a person will come one Sunday and they experience that, and then they'll be like, okay, no, maybe it's because it's my first time. Then they come the second Sunday, they experience it again, and they're put off. So let's not lose people because we are too caught up on talking to the people that we see every day, the people who are actually our friends in real life, and we can choose another time to talk to these people. It's so funny that so much hurt comes out of the church. Of course, nobody, no place is like the perfect place, of course, people, we are perfect because the Bible teaches us that, we are perfect. We are created in God's perfect image. But what I'm saying is that in a place where perfection is supposed to be, sometimes we lack. So we just need to look out for that, open our eyes, and remember that you can't afford to slip up, especially with new people, because the people who come to church out of their own, and even when they're uncomfortable, they are really desiring something, and they're hoping for that openness, that person who just reach out to them and be like, welcome to church, and take them on and carry them through until they've built their own friendships and their own relationships, and they don't need that person anymore. So don't allow yourself to be that person who slips up and just be like, no, 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 I won't greet that person today. When they come next week, I'll greet them. Make it a point, every new person, to make them feel welcome and follow up with them every day. You know what I mean? Because cliques in the church are really not a good thing, and we really just need to focus on what we primarily are there for, you know what I mean, which is making sure that more and more people come each Sunday. So it's just, I really, really, like, this is a message that's on my heart really deeply, because I see it all the time, and I try to do my best, but we're not all like that. Some people don't take it on that deeply, but it is something that's really pressing on my heart, and I just wanted to encourage you guys today. Just like with all my other videos, it's all encouragement. It's nobody's bashing anyone, nobody's tarnishing anyone's reputation, but we are learning and we're growing together. This is something I never knew before I went into the church, but now I know it's there, and I know it's something that needs to be dealt with. Do you know what I mean? So that's really what pushed me to talk about this today, because I know that it can be solved, and it's people sometimes just need a reminder. That's just how it is in life. Sometimes you get too caught up in your own things, but when you're reminded, you remember, oh yeah, no, but I could do this better, I can do that better. So it's not to make anyone feel low. Even myself, I remind myself all the time, like, look, you need to remember that you're not going to church for your own sake and just to like bond more with your friends, but you also need to make sure that the people who've come to church feel included and they feel like a part of something, because we never ever want to lose anybody because we've not handled ourselves properly. I remember one of our boarding mistresses when I was in school always used to use the word decorum. She would be like, remember your decorum, lady. So yeah, it's all about the decorum. We need to remember that, look, as children of God, our duty is to the people, and to make sure that they're all coming to church, not running away from church. So yes, that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned something. Yeah, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and share this to as many people as you can, people that you feel maybe may need to hear this. And yeah, that's it for today, and thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you again on my next one. Bye.